Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another Teach Kelvin Your Thing session. In today's session, I have Donald teaching me Formidable. Let's meet Donald. Hi, Donald.
Hi, how are you?
I am awesome. Thank you for joining. I've been looking forward to this session because it's Node.js something. But before we get into that, can you just introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, what you do, what you've been doing, and all that.
Yeah, 100%. My name is Donald. I'm a self-taught software engineer. During my spare time, I usually just write or just work on Formidable or the Formidable framework. But outside of that, I obviously work and yeah, I spend some of my time with the family. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. I like it. Very straight to the point. I like it. So, yeah, you say you're working on Formidable. What is Formidable?
Yeah, so Formidable is a full stack Node.js framework. It supports TypeScript, JavaScript, and Imba. Yeah, you can pretty much write full stack applications by yourself, which is pretty cool.
Interesting. Yeah, full stack applications. So for writing web
Yeah.
applications. So it's is it more of like Next or more of like Adonis?
More of Adonis,
Mm-hmm.
very similar to Adonis,
Mm-hmm.
but it's actually inspired by Laravel. Like a lot of
Okay.
the features that Formidable just comes with, they are Laravel inspired. Some of the concepts very similar to how Laravel does things. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's very similar to Laravel. I think people coming from the Laravel background would find it very easy to work with. Like if you just want to explore, if you're a PHP dev and you come from a Laravel background and you want to
Mm-hmm.
explore Node.js, I think this would be a perfect start.
Nice, nice. Like it's really cool to see these frameworks that are inspired by Laravel. I love Laravel and the ecosystem because I believe it's amazing, amazing framework for PHP in there. It's one of the reasons why I found sales because I needed something that looks like Laravel. So yeah, I'm ready to, dive into knowing how Formidable works because I think I'm in the Node.js ecosystem. I built full stack application. So it's going to be interesting to do this. So are you ready
Yeah,
to just get into it?
yeah, yeah. Let's get into it.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. So I'll just cd into the temp folder. I'll make a directory here. Oh wait, make directory
Mm-hmm.
um tky
Mm-hmm.
tcd tkyt. All right. So usually before you can like build your application, you first need to install the Formidable JS installer.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, you obviously need Node and npm. So you'll do something like this: Formidable JS
Okay.
forward slash installer, and then this will basically install the Formidable JS installer.
Mm-hmm.
So I already have it, so it shouldn't take time.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Yeah, it might update actually some of the packages under the hood.
Yeah. Yeah. So why this is going on, like a little bit of backstory that just so why didn't you do something like Adonis? Or do you have to build like Formidable for building Node.js applications?
Yeah, I mean, so actually, I had no intentions to get people or build something that people would use. I
Mm-hmm.
had I was literally just doing some research on
Okay.
like how to build a game engine, and then I found Imba, which is a new programming language. It's a
Mm-hmm.
full stack programming language, and I was like, oh, let me learn this language. And then I was like, I'll just park the other thing aside, like building a game engine. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, what's the best way to learn a new language? Well, let me just create a framework. So I
Okay.
literally just created a framework, and that
Wow.
was literally it. And then over time, obviously, I started implementing some cool features, some of the features that came from Laravel, and I just like decided to focus on it most of
Mm,
my time. Yeah,
interesting. This is gonna be fun. Like, I want to see your take at a full stack framework. Let's do this.
yeah. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So to start a new application, you just run. Oh, let me just.
Okay.
just do this. You
Mm-hmm.
just run the Formidable CLI, and then
Mm-hmm.
you just say new, and then I'll just add a period, and then it'll add this, or it'll create a project in the same directory. So here it'll ask us what language we want to use. I'm going to go with TypeScript.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to ask us, are we creating an API application or are we creating a full stack application? I'll
Mm-hmm.
go with full stack, and you'll notice as we are like going through these options, it'll populate our
Mm-hmm.
directory
Yeah.
with with the project files. And then I'll just go with Imba because I like Imba. And then here it'll ask you like, what are you trying to create? You want to create a multi-page application or an SPA? And then some of the options come with like an auth template. So like
Okay.
it'll include auth scaffolding. So like
Mm-hmm.
your login pages, forgot password, and all of that stuff. So we actually add one with that. And then here we can choose the database we want to use. So I usually just go with SQLite. And then we'll ignore that, and we'll use npm.
Mm-hmm.
So while it's installing, let me take you through the directory or the structure. So here, the first folder is the app folder, and this is usually the place where most of your code will reside. So,
Mm-hmm.
like if you want to create commands, they'll sit under console. If you want to create exceptions, so these are error files, they'll
Mm-hmm.
sit here. And if you want to actually handle some of the errors that the application will throw, you can actually handle them here. Um, and then under HTTP, we can store our controllers. There's a base controller here, so you can like create additional functions that can be added to your other controllers. And then here we have a bunch of middlewares. And then here we have the kernel, the HTTP kernel. And here we can sort of like, you'll see this a lot. So like JWT and session. So if we are dealing with pages that need sessions, then we will use this middleware group and it will add these two middlewares and it will basically expose sessions to our pages.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's JWT, well, there's nothing at the moment, but you can obviously build upon what's here, what's already here. And then we also have route middlewares. These are middlewares we can actually assign to our routes. You have your 5 basic middlewares that
Mm-hmm.
we've created here. So the authenticate, if authenticated, accept language, validate signature, and ensure email is verified. So
Okay.
yeah, a lot of the stuff is already there, so that you don't have to worry about like how do you get started, what's the way, what's the best practice, and all that stuff. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So under resolvers, we basically this is the way you get like we add functionality to the framework itself. So like
Mm-hmm.
let's say you want to add something globally, you just add it here. So you just create a new resolver, and then it'll basically be enabled in the framework.
Okay.
So because the Formidable framework is based on, well, not really based on, but it uses Fastify under the hood. You
Mm-hmm.
can create, you can sort of create like, or you can enable Fastify plugins through app resolvers, and this is where you do this. You do all of this. We have the router resolver as well, and this is
Okay.
where we enable routes. So here you'll notice like we have a route group which uses the session middleware,
Okay.
and then it just requires all the routes that are in the web direct or the web file. And then here we have the API, and it just uses the JWT route group. Yeah, there's a lot. There's
Yeah.
also configs here. So like if
Yeah.
you want to configure your application, um, what else do we have here? We have routes, obviously, public if you want to store files that can be exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, resources. So yeah, this is where your front end where you'd like handle your front end stuff.
Okay.
And then we have storage. This is where you store your files. If you have logs, you can put them here. And
That's
then test. Yeah, if you want to write your test, you can write them here.
oh wow.
So yeah, I think we can get started.
Yeah,
Let me just close this.
yeah, that's
Yeah. So
it's always the daunting part when starting a project that's like a full
yeah,
stack, the folder structure navigating. But I think when we get into like, just implementing something, we'll get the hang of it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So yeah, it's basically done installing. The first thing we can do is just run node Craftsman serve, and you can run that in develop mode.
Craftsman. So that's like your CLI, right?
Yeah, that's the CLI that comes
Mm,
with the framework.
mm,
So
I
I'll just
see.
pull this tab here. 3000. Boom. So this is what you get after creating or after running through all the steps.
Mm-hmm.
Get a basic welcome page. Because we chose the auth template, it's going to add register, login, and if you click login, you get forgot your password. If you go back, create an account, it will take you to create a new account. But before we can do that, we need to come back here, actually add a new thing here. And then we just need to run Craftsman migrate latest. And this is just going to add migrations, or it'll run the migrations. It'll add a users table, password resets, and personal access tokens.
Mm-hmm.
This is just so that it adds these tables so the application can start working as it should.
Nice.
Um, Cool. And then we can then come back here. We can create a new account. Actually, before we do that, we probably need to configure our env.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just come here as well and like explain. So this is where you can like configure your env variables, environment variables. Um, yeah, these are like the standard environment variables that are needed for Formidable to work. So like if you are working with auth, you kind of need a mailer, like a mail server.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for this, we're going to use an SMTP, or we'll use Mailtrap. So let me just get the credentials. Uh, oh, wait. Just get these. They, oh, I guess I have to reset my credentials after this.
Yes, you have to.
Um, and then we just get that. Because we are changing environment variables and that affects the config, we need to run node craftsman config cache. And this is just going to cache our new changes or the new
Mm-hmm.
changes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we probably need to restart our application. Ooh, no, no, no. Start our application. And then we can come back here. Let's just refresh that. We create a new user. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the new user has been created. And we can actually come back here. We can do, let me just clear that. We can do node Craftsman shell. So we have a shell which allows us to tinker with the database. So if I run node Craftsman shell, I can do db table users, and boom, we have our first user,
Oh.
and it'll us all our users, I guess. Okay, cool. But now we need to go to mail trap because we just created a new user. So let me just grab that. Let's see. So mail trap. And then I'll just bring this down here. I guess that's fine. Cool. And then if I click on this, and you can actually customize these emails,
Mm-hmm.
but this is just the email or standard email that your Formidable application comes with. You can like customize everything you see here. So this is then the email you'll get for the users to verify. I'll just copy this and bring it here, and then click here to verify. Boom, we've
Mm.
successfully verified. And that's literally it with auth. Like auth is enabled. Log out, obviously. Uh, you know, log back in. Yeah, no, and that's auth for you. We
Nice.
can take the code.
Mm-hmm.
So exit here. We'll just go. Well, the code is under resources, front end, app. So this is where the code is. You just hide that. This is the main component that gets loaded, and then you have the other pages here, which they have the routes defined. So you have the welcome page, which is the one we just saw. You have login, register, the verification stuff, and then the password reset stuff. And then the other cool thing we have is this here, this form progress, and this just adds the loading bar here that you will see. So if I do a refresh, I'm not sure if you saw that. Maybe we should change the color. So do color red.
Mhm.
Save that. That's still not visible.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
kind of
you'll
like,
get like
yeah, because it's local.
yeah. So you get that, and yeah, it's very very cool.
Mhm.
So this is basically the structure. Yeah, I think for the purpose of this, we'll probably just create a simple to do list,
Okay.
and we'll just see how that works and how you can get started with that.
Yeah. So this,
So
yeah. So the Imba right now, is it functioning as a replacement for things like a templating engine, or how does that work?
in this case,
Hmm.
it's kind of hybrid. So we use Imba for like the formidable views. So we have something called the formidable views, which is what actually loads, which make like returns an HTML, a base HTML to the client.
Hmm.
And then we also use it for the components, which is everything you see here on the front end. So these are all components. If you look at the pages, the welcome page is a component. Well, they call them tags. Yeah, you get these tags, and then you can sort of like call them. So like let's say you created a tag here. Maybe it was under, I don't know, right under here. Just call it, I don't know, you can call it test dot ember. You just do export tag test, and then I think it doesn't want test. I'll just do h def render, and then you can just return some basic syntax here. H1, this is a test, and then you'll just import it in
Mm.
here. Let's just do this.
Yeah,
I'll just
interesting.
import it. I think we called it page. Did it import it? No, it did not. So let's import it. Page from test, and it doesn't want to import it.
Yeah, I
Let's
think
call it something else. We'll just say hello.
yeah, I think something is wrong with the export. Okay, uppercase
Yeah,
set.
we're just complaining about that.
Okay, cool.
uh, and now
Yeah.
we have what do we have here? This is a test. So now if we go back here, we do a refresh. Wait. Self
Between,
render hello world page. Oh no, sorry.
yeah, got you.
Yeah, there you go. This is a test. So
Yeah.
it'll just like be a simple component that you can import, which is pretty neat. And you can have, if you wanted to like expect some props in here, we can do like prop name as a string, and then you can say hello name or stranger,
Mm.
and then okay, I'm gonna reload. And now if we do now, it means we can pass in name, and this could be Donald, and then it'll reload. Yeah,
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
quick question: what influenced your choice to go with Imba? Because I literally haven't heard about Imba until we started doing it right now. And
yeah.
another side of the question is, why didn't you just? So does Imba, it compiles to HTML, right?
Well,
Or how
Imba
does
is
that
a
work? I don't
yeah.
know.
So it's very it's very tricky. So
Mhm.
Imba is a full stack language which has its own syntax. If you wanna render HTML stuff,
Mhm.
or yeah, render for the client, you'd have this syntax that's like this. But you can also use Imba on the server side, right? So if
Okay.
we come back here, so formidable views which have support for Imba, they are written in, and this runs on the server side. You will see here that we have so we can do things like def handle, and we can run some server side code in this block. But then when it
Mm-hmm.
hits render, it'll return this to the client. So Ember is sort of like a full stack language that works on the client, works on the server side, and Like
Hmm.
you can do a lot of things with Imba. It's very interesting.
Yeah, so it also handles interactivity without having to write JavaScript. Is that it?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah,
I need to
yeah,
I need to look into that. Sounds very interesting.
yeah. It's very interesting. Yeah. So I think we can
Mm-hmm.
we can continue.
Yeah, sure.
So we've already seen Craftsman. I'll just do like show you. So Craftsman comes with a number of commands that you can use to help aid the development of your application. So we have a bunch of them here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but so we have this down command, which basically allows you to put your application in maintenance mode. You can even be like, put this application in maintenance mode, but leave it open for me. So you can like be able to access your application, even though it's in maintenance mode. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll be like maintenance mode for everyone else, but not you. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty interesting. And then we have the bunch of make commands. We can create commands. We can create configs, controllers, CRUD. The list goes on. We have migration commands, so we can create new migrations. Well, we can run migrations,
Mm-hmm.
rollback, or and then we have this package publish, which allows you to, because Imba is or Formidable is like you can create plugins for it. This package publish command allows you to, if there's a package you want to publish, it'll add some of the assets that come with the package. Then we have
Mm-hmm.
schedule commands. If you want to schedule things, this is like cron based. If you want to run crons and all of that stuff, you can use these commands. If you want to remove expired sessions, you can run this command. And then if you want to generate types, you can use this command.
Mm-hmm.
So for the purpose of this, we obviously want to create a to do. So I'll just do Craftsman make CRUD, and then I'll say task, and then actually let's do this task H. So yeah, we have a bunch of options that we can utilize. So we can create CRUD, we can add a repository, we can set the schema, we can add a domain. So by domain, we just mean like if you want to use, if you want to group everything that you are building in one folder so that you have one point of reference,
Mm-hmm.
this is what you would use. So yeah, let's do that. So the name of the CRUD is task in our case, and we want to add a type, we want to add a repository, and we want a schema. So the schema will have, we'll just say task, and then it will be a string. And we will have completed at, and this will be a time stamp. Let's see. Okay, cool. Just explain this. Um, So here we're just creating a CRUD called task, and we are adding a type for task. We are also adding a repository, and then for our migrations and the schema, we basically wanted a column named task and another column named completed at, which would be a timestamp, and it should probably be nullable. And we can
Mm-hmm.
run that, and then it's going to create a bunch of things for you. So the purpose of this is, so like, because all of these things are sort of related, you shouldn't have to like repeat yourself. Just run one command and it'll do everything for you, because
Mm-hmm.
all of these things are actually linked one way or another.
Nice.
So yeah, so it has added our controller. So you can see task controller. It will add a bunch of boilerplate code. It added a migration. I think it's called tasks. Yeah, there you go. And because remember we defined the schema, so now you
Mm-hmm.
have task as a string, and then we have completed at, and it's a timestamp, and
Mm-hmm.
it's nullable. And then it also should have added a type, and this is our type. So it did everything for us. We don't have to repeat ourselves,
Interesting.
which is pretty interesting. And then obviously we can run node Craftsman migrate latest, which will run the migration for create tasks table.
Mm.
So yeah, so I think we'll just use this component. I'll just hide this. I don't need this. Or maybe let's create another one. We'll add it here. Just call it tasks.imba or tasks or tag tasks, and then we'll do a render. It's just gonna be a self for now. And then we will add it here. Just import it. We call it tasks. Oh, that looks okay. It's under pages.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then so this should then give us a blank page. Yeah. I'll just add in an H1 here, H1 tasks. Code refresh task. Yeah. Okay, and then with Imba, we have these functions that we can use. So the mount function sort of allows us to run a piece of code as soon as the component gets mounted. So in this component, we'll probably just run probably just fetch all the tasks that already exist. And to do that, we'll use the use form hook. So we'll just do use form equals to, well, no, from at Formidable JS view. And then here we can just add a prop for this tasks. It's an empty array. We actually say task that, and then you can add a use form here. So we say use form. We don't have to put anything there. We'll do it on. We'll say tasks dot all, and then I can, yeah, we can do that. On success, do response, and then tasks equals to response data.
Interesting.
Good. So this is basically going to fetch all the tasks from, and I think this is actually wrong. Task that, yeah, should be an empty array. This is basically going to fetch all the tasks from the backend. We obviously don't have any tasks right now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just add a, or actually add it under API, a new group here. We'll do routes group. We'll do middleware. No, we don't have to do middleware. We just do prefix tasks, and then we'll just create a route. It's going to be a get. It's going to be task controller. I'll do index because index will return everything, and then the name of it will probably be tasks starts all. And then we can come here, index, and then we can just return an empty array for now. That's complaining. Okay, hold on. Let's actually return a response,
Okay.
an empty array. And then if we do an inspection here, we go to console, do a refresh. Send progress. Oh, okay, hold on.
All
We just need to come back here. We'll have to use a post. So where is this? It's under API. So it's going to be API tasks and success. Okay. Yeah, cool. So it's saying it's not found, but we'll see now why it says it's not found. But yeah, whenever there's an error, you will just get this this nice looking page, which will show whatever error you are having in
Nice.
that point in time.
Cool.
So this is actually a get. That's why it's throwing an error.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Why is it complaining about this?
Not progress. Hmm.
This is probably a form issue.
Yeah.
We
Probably
might
the
need
use
to,
form. It's expecting something
yeah,
else.
yeah. I think that's it. We might need to actually downgrade this. I think the last version was 6, the last working version. Hey, that's about probably
Mm-hmm.
that needs to be fixed. Okay, but the whole point here is if you use the use form hook, you'll be able to get you can like interact with your backend,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that's how it works.
Interesting.
So let's just wait for this to downgrade. I think while that's happening, we can look at our controller. So here we are meant to return all the tasks. I think what we're gonna probably do is your private tasks equals to new task repository.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can just go to the task repository. We can create a new function. We'll just call this all. And this will return uh, this dot table dot. Actually, yeah, we're gonna return everything because we are trying to grab all the tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can just do a const tasks equals to wait this dot tasks dot all. And this is going to be asynchronous function, and this is going to be a promise, and we can return all the tasks. So refresh. Yeah, obviously there's nothing now. And
Mm-hmm.
if you look at this, yeah, it's going to return an empty string because, well, an empty array because there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing in the tasks. So we're just going to add, let's see, we'll just add an input here. Under form, we'll just say label new task, and we'll add an input. Type is a text, and then in create a new prop, we'll call this task. We'll also use form, and it's going to have task inside because that's what we expect. And then down here, I'll just do a bind equals to task dot task.
Okay.
Maybe we should change this to form. This is a bit confusing.
Or probably
So
new
it's going to be
task.
form the yeah, actually, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're actually right. So new task dot task. Let me just create a button here to add, and then we can come here. We can do a submit dot prevent equals to add, and I'll create a new function called add, and this function will basically just run this. Say new task dot post. It's going to be API forward slash task tasks, and I'll just do create. And then on success, we're gonna add this new task in the list. So
Okay.
I'm gonna do response. Well, actually, no, we don't have to get the response here. You just get what we have. So we'll do tasks dot push. I think we have it's going to be task, and then new task dot task, and then after this, okay, hold on. After this, we probably want to um, get out the input. So we're gonna do reset. Right. Let's see why it's complaining. Okay, it's
Mm-hmm.
complaining because it's expecting completed at and a bunch of other properties which we probably don't have at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just come back here. It's actually tasks. Um, just gonna remove this for now. We'll just say array any for now. And then down here, we'll just create, we'll say for task and tasks, the element task dot task.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, cool. Let's see. Okay. So now this means we need to go to our API route, API file, and add a new route. And this is a post actually. And let's create. And we have task controller, and we're going to say create name tasks create. Maybe we should change that to oh, there you go. All right, and then we're just gonna say await this dot tasks dot create, and then we're probably gonna ask for a request here. Actually, no, let's not use this. Let's use the store function. We should have it here. Here it is.
Okay.
We're gonna use this here, and then we're gonna do request input. We can say task, and then so I need to change this into asynchronous, and then this into asynchronous, and we just return response code to 01. And then we just need to add this function here in our repository. So we'll just do create this dot table dot insert, and we have task string. It's going to be task sync promise. Well, actually, we're not returning anything, so that's fine. And this is just going to add the task. So let me just store that. And if we go to the browser, refresh, say hello world, like add, boom, hello world has been added. And we can do like
Mm.
learn Golang,
Mm.
edit,
Okay.
and yeah, and that's like basic. Well, I mean, we didn't like do other things as well. We can like go crazy and add like deletes and whatnot. But I
Mm-hmm.
just want to explain something real quick.
Okay.
So the use form hook allows you to interact with like your backend,
Mm-hmm.
and you can sort of hook into these events like on success if you want to get something back from the server,
Mm-hmm.
and this would like allow you to grab whatever it is that the server returns using this response here,
Mm-hmm.
and you can access whatever data that was sent from the backend through data. Um, and then yeah, I mean, do you have any questions?
Yeah, it's a I think I sort of understand what's going on, and
Yeah,
it's really refreshing to see this mix of how Imba is sort of like mimicking the life cycle, like on Mount. Then you have
yeah,
you're sort of like, I don't know at this point what I would call it RPC, because you're just reaching through your backend and just getting some data from the backend right in the components you're using. So under the hood, I'm thinking you're making a form of like an Ajax score with the dot post, right?
yes, that's correct.
Okay, cool.
The other cool thing we can do, right? Because we know that we are expecting let's just go here, a task. We can actually come in here in the rules and we can say task is required, right? And
Okay.
it's a string. And we can say, well,
Mm,
we need a minimum of like 3 characters. I'll
okay.
just make this true, right? We need a minimum of 3 characters. And now if I come back here, so if you look at this, actually made an error, and that's why it's actually not adding the task. Because I'm not returning, I'm actually hitting the incorrect function here. It's supposed to be store. So if you
Oh.
go back, yeah, I think that's what happened. We're hitting create, which is not, and that's why it didn't return any tasks here.
Mm-hmm.
So if I hit this, it should, yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
the
said that to false, so you need to get
yeah.
it back.
So now, yeah, so now we're actually hitting the correct thing. So I'll do
Mm-hmm.
true, and I'll do a refresh, or we don't have to actually. Um, I'll try again. It's throwing an error, but we don't see the error because we're not capturing the error. So let me just do this tasks. So what we need to do here is probably do this. We're gonna say if new task dot errors dot task.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna say for error in let me just copy this, and then we can just say key error. And we can also do C grade
Okay.
5, and then I just refresh. Yes. Okay. Well, that's valid. So
Mm-hmm.
what we need to do is just add, see if
Mm-hmm.
it actually works. We'll do a min three. So
Okay.
this just says minimum characters should be three. I'll do a
Mm-hmm.
refresh. So yeah, task must be at least three characters. So this is how you can sort of like add some sort of validation. Um, and yeah, and that's basically how it works.
Yeah. So I see.
So
Mm-hmm. The color red you just used is where's that coming from?
So this is an Imba feature, right? So the
Oh,
nice thing
okay.
about Imba is, yeah, you can sort of like write. So the CSS is actually, or the properties they have, they're sort of inspired by Tailwind. So we
Okay.
can do M, which would be margin, and we can sort of like write, all these
Mm.
values. We can do
Interesting.
P, which is padding. We can do, then we can do MX. Yeah. We can do ML. We can do a lot of things. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's very similar to Tailwind,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite interesting.
Nice.
So, so yeah.
I like
So
it.
one thing I'm seeing here, yeah. So we actually said it should create. Does it actually create it? Let's see. Create input, insert. So let's see if we do inspection. Do another inspection. Go to task. Yeah, let's see. Learn. Remember, do an add. Uh, okay, I think we're still hitting the incorrect endpoint.
Yeah, because it's not being persisted in SQLite. I think that's what we're
Yeah,
using, right?
yeah. Which is strange because we are inserting here. So if you look at this, the task controller, we are hitting just tasks.create, and then yeah, that's
Yeah.
very strange. That's very strange. I mean, we can do Node Craftsman shell.
Mm-hmm.
We can do DB table tasks. But yeah, it's not persisting it,
Okay.
which is strange. Do I need to await this? Let's see. But yeah,
Yeah.
you just need to await it.
Mm.
Well, and then
Interesting.
just like learn Ember edit. Yeah, and that's basically how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You do other cool things. So like in the kernel, here we can like define schedules. So like if there's something we want to run, um, maybe every minute, every hour, um, yeah, every Monday. So we can do like some cool things here. I'll do
Mm-hmm.
every minute now, and then I'll change this to console.log. And let me just exit here, and then we can just run this by using schedule run, and then every minute it's just gonna say hello world. You can do like crazy things here, like you
Mm-hmm.
can maybe like remove history
Mm-hmm.
every day in the morning.
Yeah.
The previous, yeah, the previous day is history. So yeah, you can do quite a lot here. You can create your own commands and you can register them here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's quite a lot we can actually do here.
Yeah,
So
that's fun. That's some cool stuff. Thank you.
yeah.
So I have a couple of geeky questions. Are you do using Vite Webpack? What's the bundler in there?
So Ember actually, I think Ember uses ESBuild. I could be wrong. Well, yes, they are using ESBuild, but they
Mm-hmm.
sort of like they're moving away from ESBuild. I saw they created a package for Vite. So I think they're moving away from that and they're going to Vite. But when running or when creating a formidable application, you don't need to compile it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are running it in production, all you have to do is just like do node, let's see, node Craftsman serve, and
Oh,
then your
really?
application will run. Yeah, you don't have to
Nice.
compile anything. And then you'd
Mm.
probably want to use this with like PM2, so that
Okay.
you can run it in the background, and then you can use like a reverse proxy to serve it to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I am using it in production as it
Yeah.
is.
Nice.
Um, yeah, which is pretty Cool. Um, yeah. So yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's
that's
how it
cool.
works.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And if you wanted to use like JavaScript, like if you were not keen on using TypeScript, you could. You just like create a file in JavaScript
Mm-hmm.
or a JavaScript file and you just import it, it will still work.
Mm.
Um, we can also do some automation stuff in the package file here. We can do development uh, commands. Then we can add a bunch of commands here, and these commands would run every time there's a change in your application. So yeah, you can like sort of like customize it and yeah,
Nice, cool.
yeah,
That's some good stuff. Thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
sure thing. So yeah, this has been really fun, and it's I haven't had a look at Imba before, but it's a fresh experience for me. But I really like the development workflow and the entire pattern. Of course, it's really good, especially the use form and having input tags working both client and server side. That's really cool. So if I want to learn
Yeah.
about more about Formidable, is there like a community? Is also there like the website? What's the website and how to just get started some more after here?
I think the best way is to like go through the documentations. I've covered a lot of things on the docs. I think like yeah, that's like the best place. But if there's certain things or certain areas I actually didn't cover, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why we have like a Discord community.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone like has like questions, they can just go to the community, the Discord community, and I'd be more than happy to answer the questions.
Nice. So apart from those squad, where else can we reach you? If I watch this video, I want to just like do a shout out. Yeah, see Twitter where.
Yeah, Twitter, it's at Donald Pakkies.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much where you'll find me.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and I'm actually yeah, I don't mind jumping on like calls if anyone is not convinced or like someone needs like some clarification on a certain thing on a few things. I'd
Mm-hmm.
be more than happy to jump on like calls, one-on-one calls, and yeah,
Yeah, that's definitely cool. Also, Donald is in the Salescast community, so if you're in there, you could just mention him, and you guys could have at it. So yeah, thank you so much, Donald. Thank you for your time for teaching me Formidable, and yeah, thank you so much.
awesome. Yeah, thanks for your time.